Hello, everybody. Coachy here, and I am going to wait a minute before we officially get underway because I think there's a bit of a delay from my stream and to let people come in. So I have no idea who's joining right now. I can't see those stats or anything, but I hope there's somebody here. And I've got my man Yusuf on the back end helping me out here. He's going to be changing scenes, posting questions from you, adding comments, doing a whole bunch of stuff, posting links that I'm going to talk about, and also helping me just stay on track, stay organized. So it's a pleasure to have everybody here. Let's get started. Let's stay on time. It's a pleasure to have everybody here. Thank you for joining me. I am very excited, relieved, happy that ROM Coach 2.0 is finally out. And the redesign is a lot, but what is most important with this release of the app is that code on everything underneath has been rewritten from the ground up to lay the foundation for what's to come, which are later on, but it's going to be heavily on the future features are going to feature heavily the assessment area. So we're really building that out. It's going to be more comprehensive. It's going to include a lot of science. Everything is based on science, as well as practical life, because the assessment piece has been there for a while. I had that concept of the movement age for a long time, and I had a vision a very long time ago, but things, we were doing a lot of things along the way, fixing bugs. There's always bugs when it comes to software development and app development. There's always updates that Apple and Google force you to do that don't change the user experience at all, but they force you to stay in compliance with their updated guidelines and whatnot. So a lot of that stuff, I had no idea about when I first started the app 5 years ago, and now I know, and that's why we did all this groundwork so that when we implement the new assessment features, we don't run into issues that could happen when you add something that's big and something that's new. So that's a little welcome to let people gather here and join in. What we're going to do is we're going to walk through a little bit of an overview. We're going to go through a little overview of what is to come today. So let's jump to the next screen here, where we're going to post up the QR codes that you could see and the links that you can see. We'll post those links in the chat as well. So whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, we're going to post all the links that I talk about in the chat, so you can just click them and go over if you need to go over. So these are the links to download ROM Coach 2.0. If you're not seeing this version yet, then that means your version has not been updated. So you can scan or click those links on your phone. If you're watching this on desktop, it'll make it really handy for you because you can play with your phone as you're listening to me and update things and follow along with things. But those are the links. Get the app updated so you have the newest version. We are some bugs and things we didn't catch in the testing. So to be patient with us, our devs are working on them every day. And we're going to try to release an update every day if we have to this week to hopefully capture all the bugs that we encounter. And you could share those with us. You could reply to any of the email newsletters I send, or you can use ideally the contact form inside ROM. So let me just show you this real quick. To get to that contact form, you tap the initials up there, and then you'll see the contact link, and then you tap on that. And you can send us your bug reports. And this is the best because it attaches your phone model and your operating system version, which can be really helpful for us to diagnose problems. Okay, so what we're going to go through ROM Coach. I'm going to take you through and navigate through the new features. We're going to have a lot of giveaways today. So we got 3 giveaways. I think a t-shirt, a hat, and maybe a hoodie. We'll give you one piece of each. I'm going to take you through 3 or 4 exercises that a couple of them are new that I've been doing a lot, that I really, really like. And a couple I have included that I just think are so important to teach. And when in ROM Coach, I give you as much as I think is best for your initial encounter with an exercise. And it's kind of like the 80-20 rule. I could coach and cue an exercise for 5 minutes, but if this is your first initial encounter with that exercise, it'll be very overwhelming and you might feel like you're not doing it well. That's why I've chosen in ROM Coach to keep the exercises to a maximum of 4 technical cues. Those are the bullet points you see when you watch the exercise videos. And it's for that reason. It's the 80-20. I'll teach you the 20% of cues that you'll need to get 80% of the result and to feel good and to get some results. But when I dive into things like this, where I have a little more time with you on YouTube, live streams, a new live stream that I'm going to be starting, then I can dive in a little bit deeper, go a little bit slower, and teach you more of the nuance that can be beneficial to learn. So we're going to go through a few exercises there, and then I'm going to do Q&A on Facebook and YouTube. So regardless of where you are, I'll get to you. I'm going to start with YouTube, I think, answer some questions about anything: pain, injuries, mobility, fitness, training, all that stuff. And then I'll go to Facebook. So wherever you are, I will take care of you. So the first thing I'm going to do, actually, because I think it's good to get moving and get the blood flowing, is to go through an exercise. And this exercise I call split sides. And this exercise I've been using to improve both stability and control of movement, as well as improve your range of motion and your flexibility, your mobility of your hips. So we're going to go through exercise number 1 here. And this is not up next. This is right now. So I'm going to walk you through this. So for this exercise, equipment wise, what you need is the ability to slide on the floor, your feet to slide on the floor. So I'm on a hardwood floor. I do this in socks sometimes. And I also do this, which you'll see me do it now, in my Bruce Lee slippers that I wear when I'm in studio, because you can't wear outdoor shoes where you're doing your thing. So that's what you need equipment wise. And you also need something to support yourself. So you could use a table, a desk. When I do it, I often use my squat rack, and I have the bar set up just to hold on to. And I'm going to show you with a bench. The thing is, you don't have to get stuck on the specific piece of equipment. I say this often. You don't need the perfect equipment. You just need to be able to do what you're trying to do here, which is you need some support and you need slippery feet so you can slide your legs in and out. So we're going to get to that right now. And if you have any questions or even just general comments, because I'm going to read all this stuff maybe during or after, leave them in the stream. Maybe I'll do that after this exercise. So I'll bring my mic over a little bit. And this, I'm going to use the bench for support here. So you see I got my Bruce Lee slippers on. This out of the way. So split sides. We're doing the splits, but we're not going all the way to the ground. I can't go all the way to the ground. I would tear my hamstrings and adductors. But we're going to work that range of motion, and what's key is you control the range of motion. So I'm going to show you the front splits first. So you need something to just support yourself and press up. The more you press on whatever you're using to support yourself, the less strength you'll need through the hips to do the movement. So what I recommend is when you start, press a lot. Don't be shy. Press a lot, support a lot of your weight. So I could support kind of all my body weight on this bench, and it'll make the exercise a lot easier. So basically what you're doing is you're starting up, down a little bit, standing up tall. Get in, I always set your body, unless otherwise noted, in a good neutral posture. Because the more you train it, the more your body's going to remember it and fight the effects of bad posture that you're inevitably going to find yourself in throughout the day. So you're starting off good posture. And what I'm doing is I'm just sliding my legs. And the first set when you do the front splits, keep both feet flat the whole time. So to keep both feet flat, that's as far as I can go. And then from here, I'm pulling myself in. And then I'm going to the other side. So the other leg in front, keep both feet flat. And I'll explain that in a second. And you can, hopefully, you can do this with me. If not, just watch the stream later or file it away in your brain to try when you have the appropriate setup. So you're just going back and forth, nice and slow, keeping the feet flat. That's key to start. Knees are slightly bent. Support yourself as much as you need, going back and forth, alternating. Like that. So you can see the pace there, very slow, very controlled. I typically would recommend anywhere from 4 to 6 reps of each to start off with for the front splits. Rest 30 to 60 seconds, and then you go into your second set. So the second set, what I like to do is go full range of motion through the hips, which means your feet won't be able to stay flat anymore. So it looks like going here, feet flat, 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 but then you can lift the heel and the toe on the front, heel on the back, then you go as far as you can that way. And then it's going to be harder, so you can support yourself more. Again, go slow, and then once you can't, keep your feet flat. Try to keep it flat as far as you can. Then you can lift up, lift the toes on the front, heels on the back, and then go back, down, and then slide. So that's the front split. So this I found to be a really, really good technique for a couple of things. One is you're going to lengthen the hamstrings and the hip flexors significantly in a way that we don't often do. And we could do that in the way that we're doing it here with this exercise is we're controlling it through the full range of motion simultaneously. So it's like a gait pattern. One leg's going forward, one leg's going backward. It's really a good functional neuromuscular pattern for us to train. Number 2 is we're training this eccentrically. We're really focusing on that eccentric contraction. And that's where a lot of times people will get injured, is in that eccentric contraction or the breaking, controlling of lengthening of a muscle. That's why you can get the hip flexor strains, the hamstring strains. You don't have that eccentric strength to control the range of motion. So we're working that. That's really beneficial. And number 3, the third thing specifically with the hip flexors, we got the psoas and the rectus femoris that we're working on the leg that's back. We're working that full range of motion of those muscles. So oftentimes with hip flexor exercises, you're working from neutral up. So from neutral to fully shortened range of motion, but you don't often work in the extended hip range of motion. So that's great for this muscle because the muscle often shortens up because of all the sitting we do. And with that, we need to restore the strength at the full range of length. So this exercise is great for that. So that's the front split side section. The other piece of this exercise, split slides, is the side split. So it's the same deal. There's a couple cues here that are a little different. I'll show you this angled version of it. All right, so set myself up here, angled version, you should be able to see me. So for this one, you want to keep your feet flat the whole time. Support yourself, and you can start kind of squatting down. If your table is a bit lower, that's totally fine. Feet touching. Feet are close together, touching. Feet are flat, and you want to keep your feet pointing straight ahead the whole time. Okay, from here, you're just sliding out. So you're keeping good posture. You see my spine is in a neutral, it's like an athletic stance. I'm ready to go for whatever sport I would be playing. And I'm just sliding out. Again, don't push the full range of motion, excuse me, to begin with. Just go to some distance that feels fairly controlled, very controlled and comfortable. And then support yourself as you pull in. And then I pull into that start position, that neutral athletic stance. So I'm not rounding my back here. I'm in a good athletic pelvic tilt, neutral lumbar spine, and I'm sliding out. Feet point straight ahead, getting down. Keep the feet flat. Don't go on the sides of the feet here. Knees are slightly bent. Go wide, and then pull it in. Try and pull it in evenly, not left, right, left, right, left, right, but pull it in together all the way. Same thing, one more time, one more rep. Out wide. Keep the knees slightly bent, feet pointing straight ahead, and feet flat. Now, those cues are critical to protect your knees. If you're going on to, say, the insides of your feet and your knees get perfectly straight like that, and you lose your neutral pelvic posture and pelvic alignment, what can happen is that puts a lot of stress on the knees and the meniscus and ligaments. So when you do this exercise, feet straight ahead, feet stay flat, knees are slightly bent. And these two exercises actually have made a significant difference in my one leg balance and stability on my right hip. So if you've been following me for a while, you might know that the right side of my body, I talk about it sometimes, I don't talk about it too often, is much different and more dysfunctional compared to the left side because of the back surgery that I had, which left a big scar and changed my movement patterns. So I have to work on my right side a lot more than my left. And there's things that I can do much better on my left than my right. The last exercise I'm going to show today, the total lunge sequence, which I came up with to basically blend together a bunch of different lunge variations that I love to use in a warm-up for when I'm playing tennis, because this lunge sequence gets you in all planes of motion, all directions, and in rotational, frontal, and sagittal planes of motion. It works all those planes of motion, and those are needed for sport like tennis because you're rotating, you're twisting, you're hitting forehands, you're lunging to the side, you're lunging forwards. You need all of those movement patterns for tennis. So I wanted something efficient that I could do to warm up all those hip muscles and lower body muscles and those planes of motion that I'm using. So anyway, that exercise I found, because I've been doing that exercise consistently for a while now, once I started the split sides, my stability and my balance on the one foot, because there's a part of the lunge sequence where you're balancing on one leg, that part drastically improved on my right leg after I started doing the split slides. And I think that's because you really get to strengthen some muscles that contribute to hip and pelvic stability and one leg balance. Even though you're not on one leg doing the split slides exercise, doing this technique that I just showed, the deep muscles, especially when you're maintaining good alignment, must function to keep that good alignment. And that translated directly to my one leg balance and my one leg pelvic stability, where when I'm sitting on my right foot, my right hip would shoot out a little bit and I'd be wobbly. I'd often have to, catch myself and balance myself when I'm doing that versus the left. So that was very noticeable for me. And maybe after you do it, it'll be noticeable for you too. But I would suggest to start off with 2 sets, just 4 to 6 reps on each side, not really pushing the range of motion or trying to, do the splits. If you can't do the splits, just work the movement pattern, work the control through the full range of motion. And that's what's going to get you the benefits to your movement health and function. So that is the split slides. That is one of my favorites. And what I'm going to do, I think I saw some questions pop up here. For those of you just joining me, I've got Yusuf here helping me, posting questions and comments. So do we have some questions and comments here? Okay, here's a question from Kylie. Dr. Lee, I have to use my arm to go back up. Is that okay? Yes, that's what I was saying, is use as much support as you need just to do the movement nice and slow and under control. Right now, especially when you learn this, we're working ranges of motion that might be foreign to our bodies. So we're not trying to push the strength. We're trying to develop the good movement pattern and the good control through the full range of motion. And as you repeat the exercise 2-3 times a week is a good amount, especially if you're active and doing other things where you'd actually go into these positions. After you repeat this for a while, you're going to build that strength up, and then you'll have to rely less and less on your arms. And depending on how slippery your floor is, the friction coefficients might change depending on your surfaces you're doing this exercise on. So you might have to use your arms forever, or you might get to the point where wherever you do it, at some point you don't need to use your arms at all. So, but right now, arms, totally cool. Just go slow and controlled and try to contract the muscles that are getting you in and out of the ranges. Okay, so we got another question here, a comment, Uriel. The gecko, I can't come back up without moving only one foot a little, then the other a little. Again, that's depending on the friction of your floor or surface. That might be necessary, which is okay. What I've found is, because I've done this for quite a while now and I've increased my reps and sets, as I fatigue, that happens. So because fatigue results in me having to do that, 1 foot a little, 1 foot, left, right, left, right, left, right, until I'm back together. That just implies that the stronger you get, the better you'll be able to do it, or the more capable you'll be able to do both at the same time simultaneously. So again, if it's your first time doing it, it's, I think, more of a strength issue, and you can develop the strength to be able to do it together and simultaneously. Okay, so I'll take one more question here because I don't want to keep you guys forever. This one we've posted up. Unless if you've got another good one, you can slap it up there. Lindsay's asking, are they supposed to, oops, I didn't see that. Going back, are they supposed to be standalone exercises? So I'm just demonstrating them, but these could go into programs, into routines. The split slides, I found, because it's a motion that we don't often work, I would put them in actual workouts, whether it's a ROM Coach or precision movement program, put them in those programs, or put them more near the end of a strength conditioning program, like a typical squats, lunges, that kind of thing. So slap it in there. But you could do them standalone too. I mean, if you're just hanging out in your kitchen and the floor is conducive and you've got the counter there, then do a couple sets. It doesn't take long and it's really good for you. And I think I answered this question. Do it after your regular gym workouts. Don't do it before for this one. All right. So that was exercise number one that I'm loving right now, split slides. Now what we're going to go through, we are going to go to the next segment where hopefully you're able to get up with me and get the blood flowing a little bit. Now what we're going to do is go through a walkthrough, a ROM Coach 2.0 walkthrough. So I got to change when I change my mic here. Tinny. I'm just masculine and deep, I think, but that's okay. I have nothing to prove. Okay, so just a second here. I'm going to connect my mic and my phone. This will just take me 22 seconds if I do it well. I am connecting my phone so I can walk you through the new app. All right. Oops. No, I'm good. All right. Screen share. Phone share. All right. Here we go. Here I am. Here is ROM Coach 2.0. This is what it looks like on my training screen. So I'm going to take you through a few different features just to help you, if you've been using ROM Coach for a while, get used to where to find things or figure out where to find things and how to do things that you might have been doing before. And also just to show the new users that we have joining us, what it looks like and how you do things. All right. So what you can see right off the top is the design is bigger, cleaner, more consistent. I'm going to show some stuff afterwards maybe I'll screen share it, or I'll just show my notebook of how ROM Coach 1.0 was originally designed. But now we've got a clean and cohesive design. I think that's most important. It's cohesive, the fonts, the colors, how you navigate things, the button colors. If a button color is an affirmative button, it's the same color throughout, regardless of what you're affirming in the app. So this is the app. One thing that I'll point out right off the hop here is at the bottom, the 4 main navigation menus are a little bit different. Now we've got My Training, Assess. Library is new. My Training and Assess were always there before, but now we've got Library and we've got Favorites. So Library is where you'd go before to see everything, the painkillers, the programs, routines, single exercises. Also, we've got the Ask Coachee stuck in here now, and that's a lot cleaner than how it used to be set up. Next, we've got the Favorites. So the Favorites is pulled out of the Library because we figured these are your favorites. These are things you want to get to quickly. So let's put them right within a single tap's reach. So here you can see single exercises, any favorite single exercises you have, your favorited routines, and then you could put favorite programs. I don't have any in there right now, but the favorites are a lot easier to navigate to you, and that just made logical sense to us. The thing that's missing from the bottom was more. More used to be there. Now the more, or the settings and all that kind of background info, is under the initials. So if you tap your initials in the top right, which you can get to from various places. I'm just going to hide my email. I don't want all this fan email coming in to my work email. You can see everything's here. Your account stuff, your email address, password, turning notifications on or off. This one I'll show. You can see there's different times for DMT and routines. This is by design. Your DMT is something that you should do every day. After 1 to 2 weeks, you'll have mobilized every joint and activated every muscle in your body. So you should just set it to do it every day at the same time. Pick a time where you can be consistent. It takes 5 minutes or less, and just set that time and just do it. You'll get a reminder when these notifications are on, but you set it and do it. And then your routines they take a little bit longer, not that long. Could be anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes typically. So you do these a few times a week. So you could set whatever time you might do these routines. Maybe it's in the evening, 1700 hours on military time here. 5:30, right before dinner would be nice. Get the blood flowing, and then your muscles are ready to absorb whatever it is you eat for dinner. That could be a good time. So you save that. So that is that area, the profile area. It's just not such a core feature of the app. It's kind of like a side feature and just stuff you need to access once in a while. That's why you stuck it up at the top right. So that's the favorites. That's the profile area. Next up, I wanted to show you the custom routines. And a lot of people don't know how to use custom routines. So custom routines is a premium feature, which comes from, if you pay us money, you subscribe to ROM Coach, then you get access to custom routines. And how to use it, if you've never used it before, you need to create one. And how you create it is you go to the single exercises, and you can browse, just scroll and browse. You can search. Maybe I just want something. I know a name of an exercise, a hip exercise, got hip in the name, so it's going to show up. Or if you don't know anything about the names of the exercises, you can tap on the little blue filter icon and then choose the different types or areas of your body that you want. So I want all the hip exercises, and here they are. So let's say this is a good one, 45-degree hip axial rotations, one of our unique techniques. You can see the video play here, and you can see that button down there that says custom routine or the heart favorite. I want to favorite that guy. It's a good one. But then I want to add it to a custom routine. So live. I'm going to save it. And now I have a new custom routine, and I've added this exercise to it. Let's just add one more exercise. Let's add the active diagonal opener. And you can see live is right there now. I tap on that, I tap save, and now the active diagonal opener is added to my custom routine. So where is it? Where is this custom routine? Well, it is in the routines area. And you can find it a couple ways. You can browse, you can search, live, there it is. Or if I don't want to search, I can filter. And if you have a lot of custom routines, this is a good thing to use every once in a while. Apply the My Custom Routines filter, and there we have it. So there's my new custom routine. Now, what can I do with this? Well, I could add this to my favorites. I could go and check out what's in there. 2 exercises that you saw me add. I can tap the pencil at the top right and edit and change the order. I want to do the active diagonal opener first and save it. Or I could delete, hit the garbage can if I want to delete, but I don't want to do that now. So I can save it, and then I can add it to my schedule. So here, of course, I'm going to turn notifications on because I want to stay on track. The workout days I'm going to choose are today, Thursday, Saturday. Done. And how many weeks do I want to do this for? Let's see, 2 weeks. Save that, and you can see here we have it in there. So I'm doing it 3 days a week for 2 weeks. That means I have 6 routines scheduled. That's the progress right there. 6 routines scheduled. When I do it, if I want to do it, I hit start, and I go through the routine flow, which is very similar. Looks better, but it's very similar to the old routine flow in ROM Coach 1.0. And I can do the routine. I can rotate my phone to go. It's full screen now, landscape, and I rotate back and I go to portrait mode. Done that exercise, and live is done for today. So that is how you use custom routines and how you find them, add them to your schedule, and do them. And if I want to edit, I hit the 3 dots there. I can edit the different parameters I'd set before. I can delete it from my schedule if I no longer want to do it, or I could just leave. I don't want to do anything. I can also just delete it here if I want to delete it from the schedule, but it doesn't delete the custom routine here. It just deletes it from your schedule. All right, so that is custom routines. Next up, programs. I want to show you programs really quickly. This is where you'll find all the programs in here, the comprehensive multi-phase, multi-routine programs, all the pain solutions, 20-minute mobility. We've got the sport-specific collections, which we're going to add to. We've got running and tennis right now. And then we've got Strong for Life and the Foundation for Movement Longevity program. So those are all the programs we have currently in ROM Coach. Let's say I want to add the neck pain solution. I got a pain in the neck. Bugs are a pain in the neck. So I can browse and take a look. Different routines inside this program. Then I can add it to the schedule. Do I have any swelling in my neck? No, I don't, thankfully. What's the intensity of pain? 6 out of 10. Continue. Now I schedule, and it's the same routine scheduling flow. I choose my start date. I choose my workout days. Recommends 4 to 6 days a week. So I'm going to do that 4 days a week. Save, and it is in there. It is in the schedule. So that is how you use programs. So that is kind of really, I'm not going to go through every little feature here because it's pretty intuitive. But I just wanted to show those main functions because programs, custom routines, doing your daily movement tune-up. I'll show the daily movement tune-up. You can tap the dots to edit and choose if you want to prioritize and just get more exercises for a specific area of your body. I'm not going to do that right now. And then you just start it. You start it and you go through your daily movement tune-up. I'm just going to X out of there right now. Stop. So that's a quick ROM Coach walkthrough. If you have any questions about where to find something right now, if you've been playing with the new version, then let me know, and Yusuf will post it up on screen for me to answer. But what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to share something that premium users know about, but you might know about. So if you're a premium user, you've seen this before. This is ROM Coach Web. Well, maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't. But this is basically a a bare bones limited version of ROM Coach where you can do your daily movement tune-up, or you can add programs, routines, and do them. We don't have the assessments. We don't have some other features in here, but it's just a way for you to utilize a bigger screen. So if you want to do this on your computer, or you want to hook up your computer to your TV and do it on a big screen TV, then this allows you to follow your workouts there. And this is the way that we've implemented it, because there's a lot of problems with other implementations like Apple TV and things like that. Casting to TV, there's a lot of other moving parts. So this is what we've decided to do. And so far, the feedback's been pretty good. But like I said, it's a limited version. You're only doing, basically, you're following your DMT or your programs here. Everything else, your scheduling, all that, I recommend you do on your phone and use your phone as the main source of control. But this is where you come just to know if you want to use a big screen. Follow me on the big screen. So that is the web platform, and this comes with ROM Coach Premium. So if you subscribe to ROM Coach, you will get access to the web platform. Okay, so we've got Chrysanth, the violinist. How you doing? Thank you for making the sound on-off icons match the sound setting. It's so funny because all these little decisions you have to make. And I remember making that decision and going back and forth. And what Chrysanth is talking about here is, I'll just show it on the phone because I want to go back to my sexy voice with the proper mic like this. Yeah, isn't that better? That's much better. I know it's better. What Chrysanth is talking about here is on the video, see the little icons, the sound, auto sound off or on, and then the auto replay, this other icon. Thanks for bringing this up, by the way. This, if you tap that and make it look like that, it's just going to loop. Play over and over and over. If you're playing a video, you're out. It could just go to sleep, your battery. The old version, ROM Coach 1.0, kept your phone awake. So we've had a few people report that. The devs are on it. We're going to fix it. We're going to get it back to how it was working before. But Chrysanth is talking about that sound icon. And I remember talking about it or thinking about it for a long time. I was like, oh, should I make the icon like look like it's on when the audio's on, or make it look like a certain way to turn it on or off? And I spent way too much time thinking about it, and I just got frustrated. I was like, no, this makes sense. This is how I do it. And then it was the reverse of how it was supposed to be. It was counterintuitive. So, some people had complained about it before, and that's one of those things there's such a long list of things to fix and do that I wish I could get to everything, and we could get to everything, but we just can't. So there's always decisions in a priority list, and just things get bumped continually. There's things from 2020 that I still want to do that I've never done before. So yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, Santh. And thank you for pointing that out so everybody knows that is now in the app. Okay. Good question. Do we have? It looks like.
Eric, you're having some stream issues here.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I got kicked off. I'm not sure why. I'm being censored. I'm helping you move freely and without pain, without pharmaceuticals, and helping you avoid the surgeon's table, and they're censoring me. Big medicine doesn't want me to speak on these things. Okay. Anyway, we're back. Um, so I'm not sure where I cut off, but I was answering a question from Uriel, the gecko, about do we get access to ROM Coach, all the programs, or just the program we've paid for? So whenever we have sold programs on the web, and this is something that we're changing, we're in the process of changing now. Whenever we'd sold programs on the web, it always came with 1 year of ROM Coach Premium. And ROM Coach Premium gives you access to every program. So when you're subscribed to ROM Premium, whether it's you're getting it in addition to purchasing the program, the lifetime access for the program on the web, or you're getting it just signing up for ROM Coach on its own, you're getting access to all of the programs in ROM Coach. And we are going to transition away from the web access of programs so that we can focus only on ROM Coach and the new features that are going to be basically like your annual checkup for your movement health and your mobility and function. So that's something that I mentioned earlier, is the assessment piece is going to be our priority, and what we're going to be focusing on building out now that 2.0 is finally out, we're going to be building that out for aggressively over the next, it's going to be at least a year until we get all the tests in that I want and the scoring. But what this is going to give you is it's going to give you a very strong subjective and objective baseline from which to draw your line in the sand. This is where I'm at right now. Get programs based on that, the comprehensive assessment, and then use that assessment. I will recommend you do it every at least 3 to 6 months. And I'm going to prevent you from doing it more than every 2 months, because you don't want to over assess yourself, especially with the body. It takes time to adapt, and you don't want to have unnecessary frustration and think you're not doing things right, when by virtue of showing up and doing your routines and staying consistent, that is the most important thing. Your body's going to take time to adapt. So I'm going to set those guidelines and constraints in the app for your own good, because I don't want you just playing with the toys. And the toys are actually going to cost money. Every time somebody takes an assessment, it's going to cost us to process that assessment, the software that we're going to be using. But that's something that now that 2.0 is out, we're going to be focused on. And so we're going to bring it back to the original question from Uriel, the gecko. We're transitioning away from the web platform. We're going to keep it there for everybody who's purchased the web programs and lifetime access to those programs. But any updates to those programs, which I do consistently, it's not often, but I just, for example, I just went in and updated hip pain solution with an exercise, 2 exercises. I swapped and I changed around a little bit. So when I get those insights from wherever, I'll make those changes. But now we can only manage the one platform, can only successfully manage one platform. We've kind of unsuccessfully been managing them 2 platforms over the last little while, few years. But now we're going to be able to really focus our efforts. So that being said, all programs will be accessible in ROM Coach. If you've purchased lifetime access to a web program, you'll maintain that for the rest of your life. We'll keep it up. We'll keep it going, keep it rolling. But there won't be updates to it. And then everything new will be inside ROM Coach, the app, and also some of the stuff will be reflected on the web. Okay, and you've got a little question here, a comment. Glossary would be nice. Yes, I agree. I think a couple second that. Okay, third that. Me too. We got a lot of people. Okay, Yusuf, stop. I know people want a glossary. You can make the task for me, and I will do the glossary, and I'll start it off. I'll put it in ROM Coach, and I'll keep adding to it as we go. All right, so that was the ROM walkthrough. Let me just make sure I took you through everything I wanted to take you through. Okay, I'll answer this one question, then I'm going to speak on something new that's coming. Do you think ROM Coach is sufficient to maintain / build strength and range of movements by itself into late life, maybe? Or would you recommend supplementing it with more than body weight training / gym? So right now, what we've got one strength and conditioning program that uses weights called Strong for Life. And this program is, I think it's really great for people who are looking for what you're looking for is kind of maintaining your strength. But depending on where you're at on the spectrum from sedentary to athlete, if you're more athlete or you just like more vigorous workouts, like kind of, I guess, HIIT classes and things like that, you'll want to supplement. You'll want to go elsewhere and add some other workouts. We are going to be adding a bunch of new stuff and strength conditioning type stuff because I think it's a huge piece to movement longevity and maintaining your function and bone health and everything. And I'm going to talk about bone health in a bit with one of the exercises or groups of exercises. But right now we're pretty good with what we have here, but I would recommend supplementing it with, I'm just going to drink here. So let me just give you my weekly routine. I play tennis a couple times a week. I'm trying to hit 2. If I get 3, I'm really happy. Excuse me, but that's rare. I play hockey once a week. I'll lift weights or do some kind of resistance training. It doesn't have to be weights. Like if you're doing chin-ups, you're not using weights, but that's resistance training. So I do resistance training twice a week. That's my goal. I don't really get three in a week. 2 as usual, 1 sometimes. So I'll do resistance training. And then cardio, I don't do a lot of outside cardio. I get that from my tennis, which is twice a week usually, and my hockey, which is once a week. So that's kind of what I recommend is I think cardio is is great from your, if it's an activity that you like or a sport. I think personally, I think sports are the best, but it's a little less accessible than doing cardio on your own. But if you could do sports, you're not only getting the cardiovascular benefit, you're getting variation in movement patterns, and you're also training coordination, hand-eye coordination, reaction time, all these other things that you might not get so much from just straight, treadmill or bike. But don't feel bad if you can only do treadmill or bike. Those are great too. So some type of cardio a few times a week, aim for at least 2, a little bit of resistance training twice a week. And then do your EMT every day and do your kind of precision movement programming, pain solutions. If you've got pain or an issue, or you just want to walk through it and do it as preventative, the 20-minute mobility program to increase your range of motion and your mobility, and Strong for Life. If you're cycling in Strong for Life, it includes the strength resistance training, but it also includes the one missing element, which I'm going to talk about later, which is the high velocity, high force training, jumping, hopping, that kind of thing. And those types of movements are very, very beneficial for bone health and for reaction time. Because a lot of times when people hurt themselves, it's because they're not able to react quickly and their muscles either they don't catch it, like I don't know that I have to do something quickly. They just don't react cognitively, or their muscles aren't capable of reacting quickly because they've that power and that ability to generate force quickly. If you don't train it, it's like everything, you use it or lose it. So you could do the ROM Coach stuff, which is amazing, where we're building strength through the full range of motion. But that's why I wanted to include Strong for Life and build that program, because by including those elements, we're not going to lose the high force, high velocity features of our muscles that go away over time. So those types of things. So yes, you could do a lot with ROM Coach. I would say you're missing some things, but we're going to be continually adding things to further complete the puzzle to movement longevity. Okay, so next up, this is our first giveaway. Oops, I should have done. Oh, before we get to the first giveaway, Open Gym. Open Gym is a new feature that I'm going to be doing now that ROM 2.0 is out, where I'm going to be streaming like this and showing exercises, answering questions. I'm going to be showing some exercises where me actually do the set like you should be doing it, just so you get a more real feel of how it's to be done. And I can dive in a little deeper, like I said before, where I can give you more of the nuance and answer some personal questions that you have about an exercise, suggest alternatives, or for whether it's equipment or for your own body, you can't do something a certain way like I'm doing it. Is it okay? Or how can I do it differently? Open gym is going to be your chance to ask me those types of questions and join me in a little workout. So that's something that we're going to introduce once a month to start, starting, I think it's in December. And you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's the first week of December where we're running open gym, the first open gym. So maybe you could flash something up on the screen or just chime in if you get a chance, and check the schedule. But that is coming. So that's going to be available to ROM Coach Premium subscribers. So subscribe to Premium. Okay. Now to subscribe to Premium, you can sign up. And what we've got right now to celebrate the ROM Coach 2.0 launch is a little launch celebration discount. And what you could do is you can go into the app, and if you haven't seen it yet, you might see the screen pop up with the launch celebration discount. If you missed it, there's going to be another one coming, I think, maybe on Thursday. If you close it, don't worry about it. Sign up, wait for it on Thursday. We'll post it up there, and or you'll just open the app and you'll see it. And you can take advantage of the launch celebration discount inside the app, and that'll just keep things nice and clean and easy. So you can control your subscription, whether it's on Apple or Google or whatever it is you're doing. If you're already premium, cool. Just don't do anything and you will remain premium. Okay, so next up, what we have is giveaway number 1. We are going to post up a link in the chat to what we've set up is a referral site. So it's contest.rom.coach. If you type that into your browser in a new tab, or if you're watching this on desktop, type it in on your phone and you'll see our contest site. And what we're doing here is we are going to reward a bunch of prizes. You'll be able to see the prizes there. And can you post up the link make sure they're in the chats. And if you could post it up on screen too, that would be helpful. And what we're going to do, so right now, if you go over to that site and you sign up for the little contest there, just put your email address in. Once you sign up, you're going to confirm your email. And once you confirm your email, you'll go in and you'll see your own referral link. Now, if you post that, send that to your friends, send that to people. The person with the most signups, or the more signups you have, the more chances you have to win the various prizes. So one prize, for example, is my initiation coaching package. That package, I don't offer it all the time. It depends how busy I am. But when I do offer it, it's $1,000. And what it gets you is 3 sessions with me to assess and coach you through whatever it is to achieve whatever goals you have. So this package, that's the top prize. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the top 5 referrals. So by referrals, it's basically you send people this link, and people who sign up for the contest, they'll get to download ROM Coach and they'll get to join the contest as well. Everybody who signs up, you get to sign up for the contest. You'll get, some points, and there's also different points for different things. If you post a video review, post things, you'll see the instructions in there on the site. So now we've got the website there, the URL, and you can scan that QR code to go over to the site as well if you have your phone handy. And you're not watching this on your phone because you don't want to leave right now to go do this. But we'll post this link. We'll send this link out to everybody via email as well, so you'll have everything, and then you can join the contest. But for the fast action takers that I have with me right now, some of you I know, if you start to do this now, post the link to people. By the end of the stream, I'm going to look at who's got the most referrals that have signed up, and it could be one. So I don't know how many people are going to contribute to this. We've got over 100 people, 115 people joining me live right now. If you just get one person sign up, maybe it's yourself, your burner email address. I don't know why you're using that, but if you sign up for yourself, you could win something. So the person with the most referrals by the end of the stream is going to win something. And that something I think is a t-shirt. Yes, it's this t-shirt. This new design, which I think is pretty cool. New precision movement t-shirt design. And there's some other things that you can win. I've got other giveaways coming for a hat and a hoodie as well. So let's see. Try your luck. So give you a second there while I drink and organize myself. I got to move some stuff around. So I'm going to get organized for the next exercise that I'm going to demonstrate to you. This will conveniently give you a minute to send this referral link to everybody you know. Okay, we are set up for the next exercise. So hopefully those referrals are coming in. And I mean, there's all sorts of referral contests that happen. You sign up for different things or you buy something, you'll often get an email, send your friends a discount to get some clothes or, to buy this supplement or whatever it is. It's a very common thing, but with what we're doing, and if you can introduce somebody to what we do, whether it's YouTube, the YouTube channel, we've got videos for maybe not every problem, but the majority of musculoskeletal issues that especially active people will encounter at some point in their life. There's the YouTube channel, there's ROM Coach. If you send people these things, you could be making a big difference in people's lives. We get so many comments and emails, YouTube comments, reviews for the app, lots of stuff. I run into people on the street, at the grocery store the other day at No Frills. There's a grocery store near my kid's school. I ran into a lady and she's staring. She's looking at me, glancing at me. I'm checking out. I got some stuff. And she's like, "Are you Coachy?" I was like, "Yeah." I was with my son. They find it funny when that happens. But then she went to tell me how she had a hip issue. This older lady, and she was really thankful for finding me, and she was kind of nervous. It was kind of cute. It's an older lady, older than me. I'm pretty old now, but my son said I'm not quite middle aged. I'm still a young age. So props to him. He gets an extra lollipop. But yeah, she's super helpful, and it's really cool because what we're doing here is very, very positive. So I think a lot of times these referral things, they just, you don't want to do it. You might have and by now you might have an aversion to doing this kind of thing. But I really think with what we're doing, you could potentially really have a major positive impact on somebody's life. Whether it's an issue they have now, or they just see something they like and they remember us. And then in the future, they come back because they remembered whatever it is that, they saw from us initially. So anyway, I think, don't feel bad about sending a referral link for what we're doing, because what we're doing, I think is really good. And by helping us spread the word, you're doing really good for people. Okay, so that we're going to check back in on giveaway number 1 for the t-shirt for the referral contest. So you get the most signups. Now we're going to go to exercise number 2. And this is one that I've shared before and one that I think is so important. It's for your posture. It's for working these muscles here. I'm getting my spine. Just a second. For working these deep thoracic muscles. Do you know the name of these deep thoracic muscles? It is the multifidus muscles. So these muscles, when they work well, your posture is more like that. When they don't work well, your posture is like that, forward head. I just talked about this in a video, and I showed an exercise that works at the wall lean, But this is the exercise now that I teach people when they've never done an exercise for this muscle group, which is most people. This is the one I like to introduce them to this muscle with now. So the SP, stability ball, thoracic extension for posture, and the multifidus muscles. Bring my mic over with me here. Okay. So this exercise, stability ball. So you don't actually have to have a stability ball. It's best on a stability ball, but you could do this off the end of a stool as well. You just do the same cues and get the same idea, the intention of the exercise. So how this exercise, I'm just going to demonstrate it first, is you start off, your stomach on the ball, and I've got kind of frog legs around the ball. As you can see this angle, frog legs around the ball. Just resting here. I'll give you a minute to find your ball and bring it over. I should have put that in the email, what you might need equipment-wise for this stream if you want to join me. But come over a little bit. So you're here, you're relaxed. Now, what position is my lumbar spine in? It's flexed. What position is my pelvis in? Anterior pelvic or posterior pelvic tilt. It's in a posterior pelvic tilt. It's as if I had a tail and it's tucked under. That's good. That's what I want to keep. This is one of those exercises where I don't want to maintain good posture. So when it's an exercise outside of neutral posture, I will tell you explicitly, and I am doing that right now. So you're in a flexed lumbar spine. You've got a posterior pelvic tilt, kind of hugging the ball here. Got my hands on the ball because I want to use the weight of my arms to strengthen these muscles. So from here, I'm looking forwards. So now my neck is shortened. It's in extension. It's in basically a forward head posture. If I were to be sitting, it would be like this. Really bad posture when I'm starting. From here, we're going to reverse the bad posture, but only from here up. So from the TL junction or the thoracic lumbar junction, that's where your thoracic spine changes into your lumbar spine. It's just a label. So right about here, basically, just above your low back. Everything below here stays the same. So stays rounded, posterior pelvic tilt. Everywhere above here is going to reverse and do the opposite. So the thoracic spine is going to go into extension. And the cervical spine, the neck is going to go into extension. And I'm going to pull my chin in and retract my chin like that. And here, I'm going to hold this position. Think of lengthening the spine like a string is pulling my head that way. And hold that for 10, 15 seconds with the goal of working these muscles deep on the spine, the multifidus muscles. So I'm working on holding this position and thinking my intention is to contract those muscles, to pick my chest up, to keep the lumbar spine flexed in my posterior pelvic tilt. When I'm done, I slowly go down into the start position. So looking forwards, bad neck posture, rounded thoracic spine, and that's your start position. So again, you're going to reverse it, but only from the thoracic spine up. Pulling my chin in, lengthening my spine, breathing naturally. And what I'm trying to do is just pick my sternum up off of the ball. Now, keeping the position down here helps to isolate the thoracic muscles and prevents the long lumbar or spine extensors from working, the erector spinae muscles, which will compensate for the multifidus and make it hard to activate the multifidus. So I'm constantly tucking my chin, fighting gravity, lengthening my spine, and extending through the thoracic spine. So after 10 to 15 seconds, slowly go down and return to the original position. So let me grab my spine here again and show you what's happening, why I recommend you do it as such. Let's say maybe I can do this. This would be kind of cool. This spine is over the ball. Posterior pelvic tilt. flexed lumbar. See how it's rounded here? When this happens, the long spinal extensor muscles, iliocostalis, erector spinae group, all these muscles, thoracic, you don't need to know the names. They're long. They go from here all the way up here. Because this is flexed and rounded, they can't work well. These muscles, oh my God, I just exploded the spine live. It's too many. I don't think that'll recover. Surgery is needed sometimes. But when these muscles activate, the spine, it's a live spine explosion on a live stream, goes into this position, extension, but it's extension, it's a long global muscle. Everything inside, who knows what each vertebrae, each joint could do along the way. Some can be hyperextended, some won't extend at all. We don't get that segmental control, the control at each vertebral joint. But when we use the multifidus span 2-3 joints, vertebrae at a time, and they go all the way up the spine. When each segment contracts, it'll contract those 2 or 3 joints. And you do that along the spine, and that's how you get that segmental control and can reverse the thoracic spine. Because these muscles, they often go to sleep, especially if you're stuck in bad posture all day. These muscles will go to sleep. And when you need to extend your spine and get tall, you can only use those long global muscles, the superficial muscles. And that will further reinforce the bad pattern, and you'll never have good posture. So that is why we're doing the exercise like I showed you, with all of those little cues, controlling the spine, each segment individually, to get the desired result, which is to activate and ultimately strengthen the multifidus. So that is that exercise. I just wanted to bring that one. I know I've posted this exercise on YouTube. It's in ROM Coach. Such an important exercise, and your ability to activate your multifidus muscles is critical to maintaining good posture, because you can't maintain good posture effortlessly all day if you're not using your multifidus. If you're only using your long extensors, thoracic or long spine extensor muscles, you can't hold that. They'll tire out. They're not designed for maintaining posture. Okay, next up, the next segment we've got here is our YouTube Q&A. So I'll need you to help me post some questions. This is actually not up next. This is not, I guess we made an error in planning here. This is what we're doing. We're doing the YouTube Q&A and giveaway number 2. So the giveaway, let me talk about that first. To win the prize here, we're just going to pick somebody who goes to the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store and leaves a review for ROM Coach. If you've already done that for us, thank you. You can't enter this, I guess, because you probably can't post 2 reviews. But if you've never reviewed ROM Coach before, what I'd like to know is, how has it helped you? How has using ROM Coach helped you? What specifically has it done? Post a review before the end of the stream. We're going to go at the end of the stream and look and see if anybody's posted. And if somebody has, that person will win something. If more than one person has posted a review, we're going to do a random number generator and pick somebody. So make sure you've got your random number generator and assign some numbers to the reviews, so we can pick somebody at random. But I'm guessing we're not going to get a ton of them, because a lot of people have left reviews already. So you might be the only one. So if you want to win, you are going to win. Let's see. You're going to win the hoodie. The hoodie is nice. It's very cozy. I love these hoodies. I wear them in the winter all the time. Well, it's pretty much no, it's not the only hoodies I wear, but I wear them a lot. They're nice and warm and cozy. They fit well. They look cool. And it's our / logo version, which I think is pretty cool. So go leave a review. Yus is going to post the links in Facebook and YouTube in the chat. That'll take you to the app stores, and you can leave a review there. I guess you could do this. If you've already left an Apple review, you could just go to the Google Play Store and leave a Google review for us too. If you have a Google account, that is. So that's the giveaway number 2. But what I'm also going to do now is answer some questions from YouTube. So if you're on YouTube and you've got a just general injury, movement, pain, mobility question for me, then post it and we will. Oh, we have some comments, some questions here. Okay, so we're going to take 5 minutes to answer some questions here. I see some of you are answering questions on your own or for me. Thank you. Keep doing that if you can. Okay. First question. Let's see. How are we going to answer this? One of your tips gave me instant relief for shoulder pain from my excessive push-ups. Cool. Thank you. We got a call. Do we have any questions? Ow. Okay. I don't see any questions coming in yet, but that's cool. We can move on, or we can get to questions as they come in the future. But we can move on right now because I know we have many segments. We have a couple segments left, actually. We don't have that many segments. We got 2 exercises left. But before I get to the next exercise, Harold Bishu has a question here. Let me see. I'm going to press a button. There it is. Oops, that's Chuck. No, Harold. Use. We're fighting. You do it. I'm not going to touch anything. You put the question up. This is from Harold. Any advice for lower back pain sensitivity that flares after I do exercise in the gym? Okay, so whenever I get questions like this, I always respond with questions because that is not enough information to help me help you the best. Are there any specific exercises that flare up your lower back? That's one question. Another question would be, does your low back tend to flare up after bending over to tie your shoes or things like sitting for a long time? Does that cause your low back to flare, or lifting something in bad posture? You have to squat over and lift it. Does that cause your low back to flare? Those are kind of the most common triggers for low back pain, and that is termed flexion dysfunction when it comes to low back, where the flexed posture. So anytime you're like this, that is your typical trigger for your low back pain. If that's true, then yes, there are things to do. And what to do is something that I call the damage control routine. This is something that I came up with a long time ago because I used to suffer from a lot of back pain related to my back surgery. And that pain, I had it intermittently. It wasn't constant all day, every day, but it would intermittently come in due to things like reaching over. I remember one time when I came up with the damage control routine for the low back, which is a routine that you use if you flare your low back and you have flexion dysfunction. When I originally came up with that routine I was getting ready. I was living in Hamilton at the time, and I was getting ready to drive to Toronto to play in a beach volleyball tournament with my brother Ty. And I was sitting in my car in the driveway, ready to leave. And I was reaching over to grab remember those CD cases where you'd have 2 CDs and 2 columns for CDs. Anyway, I went to reach over to put in the tunes that I wanted to listen to pump me up for the beach volleyball tournament. I think it was Sublime or something like that. I reached over to grab the CD case and I tweaked my low back. And it was bad. It was initially, right away, it was severe stiffness, sharp pain, stiffness, locked up, that kind of thing. So oh shoot, what am I going to do? I don't want to cancel on the guy. It's beach volleyball, you have one partner you're relying on. So I thought about it and was like, what am I going to do? That was one of the insights. This was so long ago now. This is a good story. That was one of the insights. I was like, okay, what can I do? I want to do something. Right now, my brain is freaking out. I just thought, this is one of those insights that, light bulb moment. And I just had the thought that my brain is freaking out because something happened. And it's not necessarily something, like I didn't break any. I know I didn't bust a disc traumatically, severely. I didn't break anything. I didn't tear a muscle. It was just a fairly innocuous movement that people should be able to do. You should be able to reach over, pick something up that's light without exploding your back, exploding your spine like I just demonstrated. That doesn't happen. So I thought, my brain is freaking out. okay, is there something that I could do to get my brain to stop freaking out so that I can go and play in this volleyball tournament? And that's when I came up with the low back pain damage control routine. I figured, okay, I'm going to tell my brain that the muscles are working properly by doing some exercises to get all the deep muscles working properly. And I'm going to see how I feel after that. I did the routine, the extensions, because I knew my back triggered from flexion type movements. I did the extensions, the press ups, the glute bridge, the bird dog, and the side bridge. I did a couple sets, couple reps, nothing crazy. And then I got up, I walked around, and my back felt way better. I drove almost an hour to the tournament, the beach volleyball tournament, and I played in the tournament. And we got destroyed because we weren't very good. We didn't really practice that much. But I was able to play and play fine up to my level. But that's when I first came up with the low back pain damage control routine and this actual insight about a lot of pain. You can downregulate the pain, and it's just you telling your brain that things are okay because I've got certain muscles working. I've got some base stability at the joint. So I can take the edge off that pain really quickly with exercises. And then it's a matter of getting to the root causes, and that's the pain solution programs and all the other stuff you have to do. And you got to build the endurance and the strength and the movement patterns to be able to use the proper muscles when you're moving about your day. Like that's why those pain solution programs take so long. It's because we've got to, we can't just use the painkillers. That's just a Band-Aid. We've got to use those, take the edge off, but then do the pain solution programs to get to the root causes. Anyway, we've got some more questions. So the low back pain damage control routine, I would say, Harold, try that. Can you post a link up to that original routine that I posted in, I think it's from 2007, maybe. Post that for Harold. Use that before, and you might not even get the flare-ups. And if you do get the flare-up, use it again after, and you'll find that. I'm guessing you'll find that it'll help. So, okay. So let me see if there's some more questions. That was Harold. Ooh, do we have a ton of questions? Chuck, I'm going to show that one. Having Achilles issues, can you explain the symptomatic differences in tendonitis and tendinopathy and how treatments vary? Okay, so I talked about this, I think, in a video recently, tendonitis versus tendinopathy. I just saw some research the other day. So if you saw that video or I think it was an email where I talked about that, I just saw some research the other day that said, in tendinopathy, there could actually be deep tendonitis, even if it's a chronic thing, and the superficial tendinopathy or tendonitis is gone. Bottom line is, I tend to treat them very similarly. I'll use contrast therapy, which is alternating cold and hot, regardless of if it's tendonitis or tendinopathy, regardless of if it's acute or chronic. I'll do that daily. Typically, I'll recommend it whenever you shower, you do that. 30 seconds cold, followed by 30 seconds as hot as possible. Do that 3 to 5 times and end on cold. That's my blanket recommendation for any kind of acute pain because it takes the edge off. It's helpful. So the treating tendonitis or tendinopathy, that's not where I change things. I change things depends on, what's the root cause and what muscles are deficient and what muscles are working properly. And that's how the program might be personalized. But what I would recommend, this is why I developed the pain solution programs the way I developed them, is because they're comprehensive programs, yet they're efficient. The routines will take 15, 20 minutes to do, and they're just going to cover all your bases, because to assess down to the level of your lateral head, of your gastroc is weaker than your medial head, it's often unnecessary for most people. If we cover all the bases of the common root causes, then you're going to get to the root cause. And the thing is, if you've had a problem if it's over a month, you're going to have other compensations and imbalances that will be present. So you got to get those things anyway. And when you address one layer of the onion and fix it, often another layer reveals itself over time. So as opposed to trying to assess and pinpoint, and then another layer is going to reveal itself over time. We've just developed the programs in a way that you're going to cover all the layers of the onion eventually to the point where you'll get back to doing, or the capability of doing, whatever it is you want to do. So, Chuck, that's how I approach that. And that approach has been pretty helpful. Okay. So I see some questions, some comments. Catherine, lower trap activator saved your summer. Oh, cool. Thought I would not be able to, I'm going to show that one. Thought I would not be able to play tennis, and that one exercise turned things around. Discovered it on YouTube, and that led to purchasing the shoulder pain solution program. Cool. That's good to hear. Yeah, those little things, you can get the right thing, and that can be really, really helpful. Okay, so I am going to continue on because I want to show some other stuff. I see a ton of questions. Maybe I'll address some at the end. Here we go. So the next section, I want to make sure that I cover everything. And this stream, the plan was 1.5 hours to 2 hours, and it looks like it's going to be that. I do not want to exceed that because I know people, we see people dropping off, and I don't want people to drop off. But we're going to post the replays after as well. So the next section is, or the next segment is jumping. And the next exercise number 3, which is jumping for strong bones. Now, this is something that this is one of the elements that I've included in the Strong for Life program. And that program is in ROM Coach. And it's jumping because a lot of people stop jumping. They stop doing things like sprinting really fast. And that's not good because you don't use it, you lose it. But the other thing is, you have to do certain things for bone health. You can't just walk. You can't just do light jogging. Biking doesn't do it. You have to do some heavy resistance training or heavier resistance training, more than just body weight squats. You have to load it with some external weight. And it's not or, and you have to do some type of high impact. So high force, high impact type of movements to stimulate the bones, especially in the lower body, but it also applies to the upper body, but especially in the lower body, the hips, the pelvis, the knees, the ankles, you need to do some types of jumping. So what I wanted to take you through right now is a sequence to introduce you to jumping, because if you haven't been jumping for a while, you don't want to just start doing explosive full-on, jumps where you're trying to dunk a basketball. You want to start at a lower level and work your way up. Now, I've got this outlined in Strong for Life. It's built into the program, but I'm going to take you through kind of a sequence to take you through kind of the easier, lower level, higher impact movements, and then how you'd scale that up. So there, let's see the mat. Okay, so I'm just going to kick these vertebrae and intervertebral discs all over my floor. How you can start is what I call a drop squat. So a drop squat is you go just up onto your toes and you just drop into a squat. So that was kind of soft. You saw that there. I could do it more aggressively where I'm here, like that. And I can even do it more aggressively where I try to stop myself on a dime, where I break in an instant. I go like this. So I don't go as low, and maybe you can hear me banging the floor a little bit louder. My neighbors aren't going to like that, but too bad. I'm teaching some important stuff, how to avoid osteoporosis and keep your bones healthy and strong. So that is the drop squat. So you can start off with a really light, kind of slower, softer landing where you kind of make the landing quiet. You don't have to stop really aggressively, and then you just speed that up, and you speed it up till it gets louder, and you break faster. So that's an exercise. I teach this exercise to athletes because it's really important for breaking and just teaching mechanics. When you do this exercise, I'll give you the front view. You want to make sure your knees and your feet stay in alignment. So you're up here in alignment. my feet are pointing kind of straight ahead, my thighs are pointing straight ahead. What you don't want is when you land from a jump or any squat to do this kind of thing or this kind of thing. You want to maintain good alignment. So that's kind of the most critical piece of that exercise, is to maintain your alignment of your thighs with your feet. So your feet should be pointing straight ahead and your thighs should be pointing straight ahead. That's going to keep your knees healthy, and that's going to get the forces to go through all of the bones in the way that they should be going through the bones and stimulate them to be strong. There's a ton of research on this. You can go to PubMed, or you could even go to AI, ChatGPT or Grok or something, and just post a question. Show me 5 studies that show the impacts of exercise on bone health. And what you'll find is exercises that are higher impact and higher load are necessary. And the stimulus that higher impact exercises like jumping versus higher resistance exercises like squats with weight, there's some differences in the bones specifically and how your body responds. So that's why both are best for bones. Now, I took you through the drop, squat, and some of the variations there. I'm going to take you through a few others because these are all going to give you a slightly different stimulus. So I call this the no counter movement jump. And all you do here is you start low and then you just jump and land. That's one level. And everything I'm going to demonstrate now is going to ascend in forces and impacts on the body. So it's going to get harder and harder on the body and cause greater stimulus to the bones, and will be what you want to work up to. So that's a no counter movement jump. Counter movement is when you go down and up. So the next one is the counter movement jump. So you start standing here, go down, up, and down, and land. The higher you jump, the more aggressively you do it, the more impacts. The higher you're going to jump, the more ground reaction force when you stop. The other way to modulate it is the faster you break, where it's a more jarring stop, where let's say I do the no counter movement jump, where I just start here, where I don't really bend when I land. That's going to be more stimulating to the bones. So you don't want to start with that. You want to start with a more soft landing where the muscles are taking the impacts and the forces, and then you want to work your way up. How you'd work up is in blocks. Let's say I would do, the older you are, the longer the blocks would be. So each of these levels, let's say you're above 70 years old, and it's not just age, it's also about function. So if you're a 70-year-old and you're doing stuff like you're playing sports, you're running around and sprinting and stuff, consider yourself younger. But if you're sedentary and 70 plus, you just start with a little drop squat and just catch yourself, nice soft landing, and then you work your way up. But you want to do this multiple times a week, 3 times a week. 3 sets of 10 is a good way to start. 2 or 3 times a week to start. Do each block for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. If you're younger, you're more functional, you're more athletic, you play sports, then you could start higher down on the hierarchy or the more difficult exercises and do them maybe for 2 weeks. You need less time to adapt, and you can scale up to the more difficult ones faster. So I just showed no counter movement jump and the counter movement jump. Next up, counter movement jump repeats. So repeating, you're going to further increase the force. So it's so repetitive types jumps. And then the final one that I'll show with this kind of squat jump type of technique is the tuck jump. So the tuck jump is more jarring and it's higher velocity. So you're jumping. You're lifting your knees up into inflection. So those are the jumps, the squat jump sequences. Really good for high amounts of force and velocity. The other thing you can do is more like hops. So hops, when you're doing hops, you do simple 2-leg hops. Okay, you're going to get a little less force doing those simple 2-leg hops, then jumping up and landing. But with these, you can change it around, and what you want to do is get in different directions. So side to side, front to back, and then go to one leg, one leg side to side, front to back, and just different variations there. There, I like to do more for time as opposed to reps. I'll set 10, 20 seconds. You don't have to go too long because you still want to work the muscles the way they're designed when you're doing hops and quick stuff like that. 10, 20 seconds is good. And then again, scale up. 2 legs, different directions, and go to 1 leg, different directions. And you can see these types of things were not only stimulating the bones through the high forces, the higher impacts, but we're also training those fitness qualities, the ability to contract muscles quickly, the ability to catch yourself quickly and absorb force quickly. And that's what you need to avoid those catastrophic things like slips and falls that you can break hips, break pelvises, break femurs. We need to train these elements. And by including jumps, you're getting those 2 benefits, the bone stimulus and the increased ability to contract your muscles with speed and velocity and force, high forces, which can save you. Because if you can absorb whatever it is you're doing with your muscles, cool. But if you can't, then you've got the strong bones on the back end and you've got the strong ligaments and all that stuff. So I just wanted to walk you through this. There's a ton of research. I was going to show a bunch of research, but I'm not going to do that today. You can do the research on your own. You could even go to Google and just type in exercise bones studies. You'll find a ton of stuff. So a couple questions here. I see one, the jump landings. I don't know if this one was up. Is it flat on your feet or more on your toes? For the purposes of the squat jumps, I do that more flat-footed. So land on the full foot. But on the hops, the little hops, that's more on your toes. It's like a bouncy type of thing. Wrong or right, but those will provide different stimuli for the purposes of this conversation, which is bone health and keeping your bones healthy and avoiding breaking your bones through high force, high velocity type movements. So that's how I do it there. Okay. Sheldon, yes, it is recorded. It'll be up on YouTube for sure. I don't know if we'll leave it up on Facebook, probably. But yeah, if you missed stuff, come back, join us. Okay, so we are going to move on to the next section, which is Facebook Q&A. So you Facebook people, if you're on Facebook, you have a question for me, drop it in the chat and we will get it posted up and we will answer some questions. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to YouTube questions, see if there's any other questions from people I can answer. Andrew's asking, this was answered. Where do we find the low back pain damage control routine? So the video that I posted that I got used to post up was on YouTube. But this routine is also inside the low back pain solution program. So if you have back pain, you should be doing the low back pain solution program. Even if you don't have back pain now, but you have recurring back pain, like you've had recurring back pain for years, do that program. Start it. The damage control routine is there. You'll learn about it, and then you'll progress to, this is something that I've used to now have I don't remember when I've had a flare up. I really can't remember when I had a flare up, but I play tennis aggressively. I'm lunging, I'm getting down, sprinting to drop shots, bending over to get them, playing hockey aggressively. I'm still picking up my kids and shaking them when they're not listening. I don't do that too often. But yeah, I can't remember the last time I had a flare. And it's because of the low back pain solution, that program going from, deep muscle core stability, neutral spine core stability, progressing up through to spine movement, where you're actually doing exercise to rotate and flex your spine on purpose, because those exercises and movements are required to get the soft tissue, the passive tissues to respond. It's just you can't do them too aggressively or too much volume or frequency. You have to do it slowly and progress them slowly. So, but they will respond, just like bones will respond. The ligaments, the discs will respond to force. Just can't do it, treat them the same as muscles. So do that program. It'll take you a long time. But if you see it through to the end, you can be like me and not have low back flares anymore. All right. The jumping exercise, there's a lot of jumping exercise in there in Strong for Life. But we'll see. We'll be adding, we've got lots of stuff. There's more. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Here's a question from Susan. I'll show that. What muscle groups need work/strengthening to deal with the occasional knee gives out? Partner and I are seniors, been dealing with stresses of Eaton fire. I don't know what that is. I assume it's wildfires, maybe, which that's scary. House dance, life equals topsy-turvy and weird aches. Okay. Knees giving out. So there's a couple things that could be at play here. If you have tissue damage to, say, a meniscus, you've got a little flap that sometimes, so the meniscus is like cartilage in the knees, and you can tear a meniscus where you'll have a little flap that can move around in the knee, and sometimes it gets caught. And that when it gets caught, it'll give you a sharp pain, and your knee will kind of lock up. That's one thing that can cause this. For that, depending on the type of tear, you might need to excise it. Just moving around might cut that tear off just by virtue of, you do a certain movement and the flap gets cut off and it just gets absorbed by your body. That can happen. So that's one thing if it's related to meniscus. It could also be related to motor control, so errors where the muscles aren't firing when they should be firing, whether it's because they haven't been trained that way or just over disuse or they're weak. In that case, exercises like the split slides, but done for the knees specifically, where you're flexing and extending the knees, are really beneficial. So some exercise that I show would be the stability ball leg curl. Another exercise is the extended knee ankle flex. Those techniques train your quads, your hamstrings to control the full range of motion so that you have the stability when you go into these different movements. Basically, the short answer would be the knee pain solution program, because you're going to go through all those exercises and more to train exactly what I'm talking about. But I just wanted to share kind of the theory behind my answer. And the short answer is, though, do the knee pain solution. So Susan, oh yeah, LA County. Yeah, you guys get a lot of fires out there. Same with us in BC, I guess. Okay, Lara, question. What exercises do you recommend to build up calf muscles after Achilles tear? This is after being in a boot for weeks, which caused calf atrophy. Happened years ago. Okay, so years ago, that's my trigger to say that the foot and ankle pain solution is the short answer. But what exercises? There's lots of exercises. You'll need to restore not only range of motion and length through the muscles, like the gastrocnemius, the soleus, but also the joints. You'll probably need to mobilize the joints. I've got the foot joint mobilization exercises in ROM Coach. And everything is in the foot and ankle pain solution program. The peroneals, they're on the side of your calf, the outside of your lower leg. Those muscles will need to be addressed. Everything. If you're in a boot for weeks and it's been years since, and you haven't done a comprehensive program to address those issues that would naturally result from that experience, then the foot and ankle pain solution is where it's at, and that's in ROM Coach. You get in ROM Coach, you're a ROM Premium subscriber. Go and sign up and get access to that program. You get ROM Coach for a year, you're going to be able to finish any program in there, multiple programs. So it's such a crazy value. Like 1 year, of access to ROM Coach is like, it's less than one session with me if you're to see me in person nowadays. So if you can just be diligent and do it and do your best, you don't have to do the exercises perfectly. It's like I was talking about earlier, it's the 80-20. If you can, put in the 20% effort and get 80% of the results, that's going to get you very, very far, as long as you can be consistent with the program and just keep doing that. As you repeat exercises, you'll get better at them. And when you progress to new exercises, that will fill in some of the deficiencies that maybe because you didn't do the exercise perfectly, you're going to move to a different exercise in another phase, in a subsequent phase, that will address those shortcomings. So the programs are designed for a reason. The exercises are laid out in the order they are for a reason. And I spent a lot of time designing those programs when I originally designed them. So do that program, it'll help. Okay, next up, question. Veronica. Oh, let me just mention the last giveaway, because the Facebook people and the YouTube people, I see a few YouTube people have already left comments on how we've helped you. And specifically, I'm wondering how ROM Coach has helped you. But all you've got to do to enter this last giveaway is leave a comment, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, telling us how ROM Coach has helped you or how a program has helped you. And you will be entered in our giveaway for the hat. That's, let me, real quick. Hats like this. Oh, there's a hat, but it's also like this one. It will give you a choice of the color as well. I love these hats. Pretty much the only hats I wear. The only downfall with this gray color is you get this sweatband that doesn't really disappear. I think I'm just going to go for a crazy run or play tennis I can't do it anymore, but in the noon sun in the summer, and just get it all the same sweat color. But right now I've got this little band right there. But that's the only problem with this dark gray color, or the light gray color. The darker colors don't have this issue. Anyway, leave a comment on how things have helped you, and we will pick somebody. So I've got one exercise I'm going to go through because I love this one. This is the last exercise I'm going to go through here. Oh, my beautiful hair has been messed up with my hat now. Oh, no. The total lunge sequence.
We can't hear you, Eric. No, we cannot hear you.
How about now? Can you hear me?
There you go.
Okay.
All right, you're good to go.
This microphone. Thank you. Okay. So I developed this to incorporate a bunch of different exercises and movement patterns into one sequence. And the benefit of doing it like this is you also get you have to think, and thinking is good. You don't do enough thinking sometimes. So here's the total lunge sequence. I use it for warm up for tennis, hockey. You could load it with a medicine ball or a little holding a dumbbell, but just do a body weight. So you start off with the first lunge and twist, twisting over the front leg. So I'm twisting towards that leg, and I keep my head straight because when I'm playing tennis, I'm hitting and I want to keep my eye on the ball. So I'm twisting that way. And I come up into the signpost or the hip horizontal extension dissociation again, head straight, pulling my knee across my body as much as possible, rotating my torso, my shoulders as much as I can that way, keeping the head straight. I hold that for 5 seconds, and then I step out into a lateral lunge here. Good posture, nice and tall. I'll show a different angle in a second. And then I do the adductor iso lunge to pull myself over, staying low with this adductor to there. And then I slide myself up using this leg. I'm not pushing off, I'm sliding myself up there. I'm going to do it on the other side. So I'm stepping back, rotating here, right up, This is the side where I really notice the split sides. See my balance here? It's not bad. I would usually fall over when I do this, so I notice the benefit. And then I come out to the side, stretch the adductor, and then I pull with this adductor all the way up. I'm pulling right to there. One more time. Such a good sequence to warm up everything. Hold it for 5 seconds here. Step out to the side, pull myself over, and up. So that there is the total lunge sequence. I'm going to try and get on my Can you hear me okay here? Yeah?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So that's the total lunge sequence. And what you're getting there is you're getting rotation. So the rotational plane of motion, working hip rotation a little bit, not too much, and torso rotation, which is obviously good for any rotational sport, shooting, puck, hitting forehands and backhands. You're getting hip flexors with the signpost, lifting the leg up and holding with the rotation. You're getting lateral movement, so frontal plane movement, working the adductors. And then you're getting both lengthening and strengthening with the adductor, the lateral lunge and the adductor iso lunge. So you're basically working every plane of motion and a lot of muscles that you need in sport, any sport. So whatever sport you play, you're going to be using those muscles. So I would use this for soccer, basketball, golf, baseball for sure. Pretty much any racket sport, any sport you're doing, this where you're on your feet, you're doing stuff, running around or skating. This total lunge sequence is great. So I would suggest you try it. And then because you have to think about it, you're kind of really getting zoned in on your body and getting into the zone before whatever it is you're going to do and play. So that's the total lunge sequence. That's the last exercise that I wanted to show. So I went through 4 different exercises or exercise concepts, and I hopefully you got some new stuff to add to your arsenal. Okay, so I'm going to go back, answer a couple questions that I see popping up here. Use. Why don't you take a look at the contest site, see if we have any referrals there for the t-shirt winner, and fire up your random number generator. And then you can jump in the stream and we can talk and pick some winners for things while I address a few more questions and we wrap it up here, because I see a lot of people have left some comments, and you can search Google and Apple reviews, see if there's some Apple reviews to choose from and Google reviews to choose from. Okay, so let's see here. Veronica has a question. I developed low right back pain along with a pelvis that sometimes locks up when I walk, especially after standing stationary for a while. Probably related is ratcheting feeling in my lower right back when I raise my right knee. Ratcheting feeling. Okay. So just based off of that, I'm looking at deep hip and pelvic stability on that right side as something to address. You can address that with be the best place to start. The best place to start for that would be the Hip Pain Solution program. Inside of that, you can just go into the single exercises library. So you go to ROM Coach library, single exercises, and you can find the exercise called iliopsoas control. Let me see if I can type this in. Psoas control. So this might show up in YouTube and Facebook in the chats. These exercises, there's a series of them, 1, 2, and 3. These exercises really get to the iliopsoas, but also other deep hip stabilizer muscles and deep pelvic stabilizer muscles. These will go a long way to stabilizing those areas and the issue that you're talking about. So that's one place I would look. The other place I would look is the bend of your spine. And if you have a side bend, would indicate you have an issue with an intervertebral disc on one side, you're going to be likely, if anything, if I had to guess, you're going to be side bent to the left a little bit, and that's going to be pushing out on the right side disc, but it could be the opposite too. You could have two different issues, the opposite issue. So I can't say for sure. I'd have to look and see, but for that, you could do the hip pain solution. You're going to get some lumbar stabilization work in there. But if it's more of a low back issue, then the low back pain solution program is going to work best, where you'll get a little bit of hip stabilization work, but the focus will be on the low back. So it depends on where your issue is specifically. Those programs will both also include some work on your lower body alignment, because how you move, how your lower body is aligned, and the muscles, how they work, will impact everything up the chain because of every step you take. So of course we're going to look at that and address that. So you'll get that work too, because problems at the spine can come from the feet. So that's why these programs are designed the way they are. You'll do, in the elbow and wrist pain solution, you're doing a ton of thoracic spine exercises and movements and work, scapular stabilization exercises, because the body is connected. Every joint is connected to another, something called a kinetic chain, how every movement is linked, how movements are linked. So we've got to address not only the site of the issue, but anywhere that could impact the site of the issue. So there are some places to start. Next question. If I can see some. Oh, look, Tula. Feet are no pain now because you did the foot and ankle pain solution. Cool. Very cool. T-Star Baby 1211. Are cramps during exercise always due to a muscle weakness, or can be a chemical imbalance? Yeah, it could be. It could definitely be a chemical imbalance. Electrolytes, not like, it could be magnesium, could be potassium, could be sodium, calcium. All those are very important electrolytes for muscle function. So it could be any of those that are affected, that are maybe deficient, or maybe have too much. It can also be the strength, the weakness, the lack of strength at a specific range of motion, specifically the shortened range of motion. That's very common. When a muscle is not strong at a shortened range of motion, and then you go there and you try to contract the muscle, a cramp is almost guaranteed. Okay, so I think that is good for Q&A and for the stream. Thank you to the 73 people who've stuck with me for this long. I really appreciate not being here talking to a blank room, an empty room, like a crazy person. So contests, use. Why don't you join me on here and you can tell me who is winning what. So let's start with the contest. We got some referrals. Anybody get some referrals?
Yeah, we've had a lot of people sign up.
A lot of sign-ups.
But in the lead, we've got two people that are actually, they are tied. I'll send you their names. Check your Discord.
Discord, okay. We posted in the chat there. All right.
We got Matthew and Lindsay.
Matthew and Lindsay. Cool. They both have 211 points. Okay. So Matthew and Lindsay. Do I have a coin? No, I got a 10 strike. Here, this is what we're gonna do. So when you play tennis, you spin. Up is Matthew, down is Lindsay. That's how you figure out who's gonna serve first. So I'm gonna spin it, and if it's up, Matthew, you'll win this t-shirt. If it's down, Lindsay, you're going to win the t-shirt. Ready? It's down. Lindsay. Sorry, Matthew. Lindsay won. You have choice of serve and you get the t-shirt. So that is Lindsay. So we will reach out. We've got your details. Lindsay's the winner of the PM t-shirt. This one here, it's pretty cool, I think. Cool retro design. Okay, so that's giveaway number 1. Giveaway number 2 is YouTube. App reviews. Did somebody leave an Apple review or do you know?
Yeah, they did. I can see some Google reviews.
Nice.
The Apple reviews might still be coming in. I know one person mentioned they left one, but it's not showing up just yet.
Okay. All right, we'll take their word for it.
Yeah.
Stick them in the draw. So how many do we have here?
We have a total of 4.
4. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Here, let me pull up the random number generator.
I already did.
Okay. Why don't you do it and you tell me who wins?
All right. The winner is Norma Carter.
Norma, congratulations. I think it's the hat, right?
Norma
We'll verify that. But I think it's the hat. Or is it the hoodie? I want to make sure people get the right things.
I think it was the hoodie, but we can go back and check the stream.
Okay. Let's say hoodie for now. I'm pretty sure it was the hoodie.
Yeah.
I busted out the hat at the end.
Yep.
All right. So the last one we have, we'll be in touch, Norma. The last one we have is the comments. The comments on the stream. We had a bunch. You know what? We're going to send this one out via email because I don't want to miss anybody. I know we had some earlier. People left some comments, some nice comments for us before I even asked for them, which I appreciate. But you don't get bonus points for that. However, we're going to go through, just make sure we've captured everybody. We're going to do our random number generator, and we are going to send you an email tomorrow with a link to the replay and also a winner of a hat. And it could be this color or it could be blue or something else. We'll give you the options. You can choose. But yeah, thank you. So there we have the live stream, the ROM Coach 2.0 launch celebration live stream. Thank you all for being here. Really appreciate you joining me. It was fun. Time actually flew by. I'm surprised we went for 2 hours. I always thought, how could people stream for so long? But I guess if you're getting into it, you can go for longer than you think. Reminder about the contest. We're going to send an email about that as well. Join the contest. Send it to people. Tell people about what we're doing here. We're helping people move freely and without pain. A lot for free. I mean, we're going to help a lot of people for free. We've got almost, what would you have, 730,000 subscribers on YouTube, millions of views every year. We're helping a lot of people on YouTube for free. You do have to suffer through some ads, though, I think. But then ROM Coach, there's a lot of free stuff in ROM Coach. Daily movement tune-up, painkillers. Instead of popping Tylenol and Percocets, you can use the painkillers, hopefully. And we can stop people from going down that path. That was my vision for that, to help people get away from painkillers. And then if you do sign up, it's like the cost of a massage. One massage, you can get ROM Coach for a year and you could do every program if you want. If you have the time, do every program. Let's make use of it. But the cost is so low, I think, up against what you get. It's almost a negligible cost for what you're getting in terms of programming and support. I've got Open Gym for premium subscribers that you're going to be able to join me live. I'll be talking live. I've got Ask Coachee, where premium subscribers can ask me questions. And of course, you get access to all programs and all custom routines and all features and all the future premium features that are in the pipe. So thank you very much for joining me. I'll be in touch over email over the next week, tomorrow, day after, something like that. And until then, keep moving, keep doing your thing, and I will talk to you soon. Take care, everybody.